Hi everybody, it's Aislinn here from Minister for Happiness and welcome to Manifestation Through Meditation, an introduction workshop. I'm delighted to have you join me today, and no matter where you are in your life, I guarantee you are going to get some tips, tricks and tools to help you start creating more of the life that you really want and desire, a life that you can truly love. There are many books written on manifestation. There are many amazing people who speak about manifestation and the law of attraction. And today I've taken what really I've found works for me and for the clients I work with and on the courses I run that people get the best results with. And I've brought it down into a few simple tips to share with you today that you can get started on manifesting more of what you want in your life. So enjoy. So firstly, before we begin today, a few things that I want to cover are visualize and show up. Well, that'll be the first thing we'll talk about today because this is really important. And this is part of my philosophy when it comes to how to achieve anything you want. The second thing we'll touch on today is getting in the right frequency. And no matter who you listen to or what you read about manifesting or the law of attraction, you will hear the term frequency a lot. And I'll explain that to you a little bit as well. I'll also talk about tools to help you manifest and create the future that you want. And I would advise, if you don't already, have a notebook or a few pieces of paper and a pen handy, because we will be using those today on the workshop. And you will need them after the workshop as well to just do a little bit of the exercises and work that I will give you to start creating your future. And finally, we will finish today's workshop with a lovely guided meditation that will allow you to step into the future and visualize an outcome that you wish to achieve. So, at Minister for Happiness, as you can see at the very end of the slide here, everything we do with your happiness in mind. So I want this workshop to be a joyful, happy experience for you. So if you have this on now, pause for a second, lock the doors, turn off your phone, obviously unless you're on your phone watching this, and tell everyone go away and leave you alone for the next 40 minutes or so. This is your time and space. So be present completely and you'll get out of it what you put into it. If you give 100% attention to this, you'll get 100% back. You'll hear everything and learn everything that you need to move forward. So firstly, vision and action. Okay, so I believe these are two components that are essential to achieve anything in your life, whether that's achieving a better level of health and fitness, attracting the perfect relationship, increasing your financial success, bringing your business to the next level, attracting the dream home, traveling, whatever it is that you really want to attract into your life. The first part, I believe, is visualization. And sometimes when we hear the words visualize, we think, oh yeah, I'll just imagine something and it'll happen. That's not really the case. Visualization is very powerful. And I've always been someone who's visualized things. I'm a complete dreamer, always have been ever since I was a young child. And if you ask me to visualize something, I have no problem closing my eyes and seeing a very clear picture of that particular thing. Whatever I decide to put in my mind, I can see it. However, it's not just about visualizing the future you want. It's also about having the vision and using the eyes in your head to see when there are signs, opportunities, people put in front of you who can help you to achieve the thing you want. So it's not just visualizing the outcome, it's also using your vision to see the signs that will help you to get there. The second part is action. Nothing happens without a bit of work. You have to show up, basically. Nobody gets in shape because they go to the gym once. You have to turn up regularly 2 or 3 times a week and be consistent for several weeks or months on end before you see the results that you're there for. It takes that showing up on a regular basis to see results. So action has to happen. You're not going to get in shape by sitting on the couch, eating crisps, watching Netflix. As much as that sounds lovely, that's not something that's going to get you in the best shape of your life. As the wonderful Maya Angelou once said, nothing will work unless you do. So we have to realize that manifesting the life of your dreams is about vision and visualization, but it's also about action. I would even say it's about right action. So showing up and doing the right thing to get the results you want. And I would say here as well, everyone, don't wait to be better when you get the partner, you get the job, you get the money, whatever the case may be. Be better now. Start wherever you are. If you're watching this workshop and you really want to change career path, then don't wait until you get the new job to be better or to be happier. Right now, in the job you're in, start to be the best you can be. Because at the end of the day, you have to be in work anyway. You might as well enjoy it. You're not going to get paid any less if you don't enjoy it, so you might as well enjoy it. And at the end of the day, if you have to be there, you might as well make the most of it. So why not show up for work and be the best you can be and finish each day feeling like, you know what, I did a really good job today. Even though this might not be the job I want to stay in, I did a good job today and I feel good about that myself. Because this is where our power is. It's in what we do on an everyday basis. It's the things that we bring into our day. It's the way we behave. It's our thoughts, actions, and behaviors. So be better now. Don't wait for some future time. So the law of attraction, getting on the right frequency, is a very common term we hear with it. And if you want to manifest, for example, a loving relationship, let's say you want to meet the man or woman of your dreams. You want that partner that is going to excite your mind, get you, feeling butterflies in your tummy, that you look forward to seeing them. You want to be around them all the time. You want someone who's romantic and adventurous and funny and clever and all of these things. We want superhumans, basically. And that's a frequency that's quite high. But if you're looking for that and you're down here and you're looking for this amazing person, but you're behaving, sad and lonely and a victim and I'll never meet anybody and there's nobody good out there and, and you're complaining and moaning and, oh my goodness, that's a low vibration. How are you ever going to attract someone up here? It doesn't work like that. You have to bring your vibration up. You have to start behaving the way that you of the person that you want to attract. You have to be adventurous and fun and smart and interesting and fun to be around. So I hope that makes sense. You have to increase your frequency. You have to change your frequency. And if you think about it like this, I remember my very first car. It was a Renault Clio, and it was, I don't know, maybe an early 90s car. So the radio itself still had a dial where you had to tune it into the station. And as you all know, if you had to tune in a radio, if you're old enough to remember this, and you had to turn the knob, the dial, then it would take a little while to get to the station you wanted. So if you wanted, we'll say 96 FM, then you would have to be on the FM frequency and you would have to go to 96 point whatever 96 FM was. Now, along the way, you'd go through other stations and you'd get a lot of static and in and out voices and different, you'd hear bits of songs. It was very distorted because until you got to the frequency you wanted, you wouldn't get a clear signal. It's only when you're tuned into a frequency that there's a clear signal that you can make out. And it's the same with anything we want in our lives. If we really want to attract someone loving and fun and stimulating and great to be around and smart and clever and funny and romantic, then we have to get on that frequency. We have to tune into that, which means we have to start behaving like that. We have to be open to receiving that. You have to tune in. And it's the same whether it's money, relationships, work environment, home environment, your health and well-being. It really does apply to anything and everything. You have to start tuning into that frequency. And just to elaborate a little bit more on this, everyone, one of the simplest ways to tune into that frequency is to get into the attitude of gratitude. And we hear this term a lot, the attitude of gratitude. In short, gratitude boosts neurotransmitter serotonin in our brain, which has a really big effect on producing dopamine, which is one of the feel-good chemicals. Dopamine is a pleasure-feeling chemical, and it really does have a very positive impact on how we think, how we feel, and our health and well-being. So it makes us healthier and happier. So being grateful, not only does it make us feel good chemically in our brain, so we're happy, but it also has a positive impact on our immunity and our physical health and well-being. So when you're being grateful and you're putting that signal out and you're emitting gratitude out, then that's what you're attracting back to you. When you're grateful for something, all of a sudden you notice there's more things to be grateful for. It's pretty much the same in the opposite way. When you're having a bad day and everything's going wrong and you're like, oh God, everything's going wrong. And you notice things keep coming to you that keep going wrong. It's like one thing after another. That's because you're in the frequency of that. But when you get in the frequency of gratitude, then you attract more things to be grateful for. So you're on a higher frequency. Gratitude is probably one of the I suppose we call it a hack nowadays. It's to hack our brain into feeling good, but it really does work. And when we're in that feel good state, it's a much better place to put your requests out for what you want. And that could be writing down something that you have as a goal, or sitting down and meditating on something that you want to have as an outcome, a positive outcome. Doesn't matter what way you write your requests or say your requests or imagine your requests in your mind. If you get in that attitude of gratitude first, it's far more effective because you've tuned your frequency in to one that is on a high vibration. So it's a lot easier then to attract the thing you want. And we will do this today on the workshop, where I will give you an opportunity to get your notepad and pen and write down things you're grateful for. So we'll get to that a little bit later. But I want to give you a few tools to take away today, and not just tools that you can use in the everyday, but tools that you can actually put a little bit of work into and really dissect your own mind what you want, okay? So today, one of the tools I'm going to give you, or one of the tasks I'm going to give you, is to write yourself a letter. And I call this reverse engineering your year, okay? So you all know that if you were going to, like the blueprints here you can see in front of you on the screen, for a house, okay? So when you're going to build a house, you would get a draftsman or an engineer or an architect to design the house, okay? And they'd have to draw out the drawings on paper and what the house would look like and the floor plans and the whole lot, obviously. Now that is reverse engineering, because before they can do that, somebody has to draw what the house would look like. So somebody has to have a vision in here. Then the engineer does the plans. Then the builder builds the house. And that's how the process of building a house happens. Someone sees it here before it's ever built, before the engineer's plans happen, before the builder builds the house, before you get the keys to move in your house, before anything happens. Somebody has a vision in here of what the house will look like. And it's the same with your life. You know in your mind what you want, but we just spend a lot of our time thinking about what we don't want. So we waste a lot of space and energy giving our attention to things we don't want. Manifesting the life you want is just about moving your focus to the things you do want. So putting your energy in the things you want to create rather than the things you want to avoid. Because the law of attraction isn't about pushing things away. That's not how it works. It's what you give your attention to, you grow. So where your attention goes, energy flows. That's the saying. And everything is energy. That's very scientific, by the way. It's not airy-fairy, wishy-washy. Everything is energy. So if you're giving your attention to your problems, your worries, your stresses, your fears, the things that you're catastrophizing about things that could happen that might never happen, then that's a lot of energy leaking out of you. But if you give your attention to the things you want and you sit down and do this exercise I'm about to give you, and you reverse engineer the next year of your life, then you're writing all the things you want. And it's fun, and it's easy, and it's light, and it's uplifting, and it's exciting. And the worst that can happen is nothing. But if you don't do it, nothing will happen. You'll just keep doing the same thing. So here's what you do. You get yourself your notepad or just a few blank pieces of paper, which is what I normally do. I get a few A4 pages. And I did this back in December of last year. So just before New Year's Eve is usually when I do this. But you can do it any time you want. And my advice is you do it a year in advance. So basically, what you're doing, if you decide today to write it, you're going to write yourself a letter in the future, a year from now, okay? So imagine, if I was writing it to myself, I would write, oh my God, this year has been the best year ever, whatever the year is. The year I'm doing this recording is 2023. So I started my letter, oh my God, 2023 has been the best year ever. And then I proceed to write all the things I wanted to have happen this year, but I wrote them as if they've happened already. So it's like I'm writing a letter about how well the year went to myself. It's like a time capsule in some ways, if you think of it that way. So what you're doing when you sit down to write is you come to the pages with a few ideas of things you want. So you might want to maybe move house in the next year. You might want to attract the partner of your dreams. You might want to increase your finances. You might want a particular healing or fitness improvement in your health and well-being. You might want to have to get a pet, whatever it is, or learn the guitar. It doesn't matter. anything you want within a year that you believe is possible, you write down. Okay. Now I did this and I wrote loads of things to do with my home, to do with my relationships, to do with my health and fitness, to do with my finances, to do with travel. I wrote all the things I wanted in the year. And I wrote as if they'd happened. So I wrote, oh my God, we moved into our new house. Oh my God, it's amazing. And we were able to get all the furniture we wanted and the money just seemed to show up. And the business really started to take off. And I have wonderful clients who come to me and I really enjoy the work that I'm doing. And, you know, I wrote all the things I wanted to have happen in my business, in my relationships, in my home, in my fitness, in all areas of life. But this is really important to everybody, okay? More than just writing what you want for the year ahead, I think it's essential that you include other people, okay? So when you're writing the letter, also include a few people in your life who you'd like to see a good outcome for. I'll give you a simple example. Not this year, but the year before, when I wrote my letter to myself on New Year's Eve. I wrote down that one of my friends at the time was very unwell. She had some serious health issues going on that she didn't even have a diagnosis for. And it was really affecting the quality of her life, mentally and physically. It was just horrendous. And I felt helpless. But I knew when I wrote this letter that I could write down the outcome I wanted for her, which was that she was, after getting a diagnosis, and that all the things she needed to have done have been done. And now she's back to 100% health. That was one of the things I wrote down on my letter the year before, not this year, last year. And I didn't open the letter again until a year later. So that's the thing with this letter, everyone. When you write it, you seal it in an envelope like this and write on the back of it, do not open until, and write the date a year from now, okay? So this is my one for this year. Do not open until the 31st of December, 2023. See? And I put a smiley face on the front. But when I did my letter last year, she was in it. And when I opened the letter this year to read back on the things I'd written, one of the things that I forgot I wrote was that I wrote down about her healing and that she was healthy and well. And she is now. And the best part is she had suffered with that condition for 3 years. So it wasn't just a few months and that I wrote that down willy-nilly. She had been years suffering. And I'm not saying it's because I wrote it down that she had a diagnosis and that she's healed and that she's better now and everything's worked out. But I'm just saying that it doesn't hurt to write these things, to include other people, to see outcomes for other people that you want. You right now might have someone in your life who needs a healing, somebody who wants to lose weight, or somebody who wants to meet a partner, or somebody who's in financial struggle, somebody who's just really in a place where they're desperate and they need a little bit of help because they're finding it hard themselves. And by you writing them down and including them in your request for the year, then you're giving that, good energy to them and you're seeing the outcome for them without the emotional attachment. And I believe that life, the universe, whatever comes along and does help. So it's definitely worth including other people. So you get your paper, you get your pen, and you sit down in a really good state of mind and you write out exactly what you want to have happen for the next year as if it's happened. So you're writing a letter to yourself saying, oh my God, I can't believe this has been the best year ever. All the things I wanted to have happened. This happened, that happened, and then this happened for this person. So include everybody, enjoy the process and have fun. On my courses, I do 4-week courses called Manifestation Through Meditation, obviously. I get the participants on the first week to do this exercise of reverse engineering the year ahead. And I have to say, nearly all of them come back to me and they're like, oh my God, Aislinn, I really wasn't sure if I'd like doing that exercise. But I had a page and then another page and I was like 5 pages in and I realized, oh my God, this is so much fun. Because like you're writing out what you want in your life. And I mean, at the end of the day, like it's only your life, right? So why wouldn't you take it seriously? We would write a shopping list going to the shops so we don't forget anything. But we won't take time to sit down and write out our life plans, the things we want for ourselves. And if you even do it once a year, it's powerful. As I said, the worst that can happen is nothing. But if you don't do it, nothing will happen. So I encourage you all to do it. So letter to yourself, this is your work. This is one of the tools I'm giving you today to take away and to do in your own time. Or if you want, you can pause now on this video and just start your letter to yourself and put it in an envelope, seal it, and put it away somewhere safe until next year, a year's time from now. And open it up then and look and see the magic that can happen. Because magic, I tell you, there's magic everywhere. And I've often written things for other people and myself, forgotten about them. And then I open up a letter I put somewhere and I'm like, oh my God, that thing happened. That thing happened. It's so much fun. That's what life's about. Okay, so another tool I want to share with you, and this is one of my favorites. And I've been back and forth with vision boards now for probably 15 years or so. I think it's 15, 16 years anyway. It could be longer that I started doing vision boards. But if I'm honest, during the last, I'd suppose, 2 years, I've really gotten into doing vision boards again because I hadn't been doing them as consistently. And myself and my husband both started to redo our vision boards during the pandemic. And my one is in the bedroom at the end of the bed on a dresser. So I see it every night before I go to sleep and every morning when I wake up. And I break the vision board into sections. So what I'd say to everybody is, get yourself a cork board. You can get them in, places like Mr. Price or Deals, or in any stationery kind of shops and things like that, office supply stores. Or you could get just a piece of cardboard from a box and make a vision board out of that. All you need is something flat. Or if you have a wall that you want to, blue tack pictures onto, that's fine too. Whatever, work from where you are. It doesn't have to cost anything to do these things. It's more about the creativity side, and the intention behind it is to put pictures in front of you of things that you want to attract into your life. But it's really important to everyone, because it's really important that you realize they have to be things you want. Don't just put something on your board because, I think everyone would want that. You have to really want it yourself. Like, don't put a picture of a Ferrari on there if you don't think, you're ever going to have a Ferrari. And would you spend that much on a car if you had money? Sometimes we put things on our vision boards that we think, because they look cool or because everyone would want one. But do you want one? Like my dream car right now, my dream car used to be a Aston Martin Vanquish. Dream car for like decades. I loved it. But now at this phase of my life, for some reason, I have a completely different idea of what my dream car is. And now my dream car is a white Kia Sportage hybrid. So very different, because I realized, why did I want an Aston Martin? That was a different phase of my life that I would have loved to have driven around in it. But it would have been for show, because I thought the car was cool and it looked amazing. Now, it is a beautiful car. I wouldn't say no to one. But if I was going to buy a car in the morning, I'd buy a Kia Sportage. So that's on my vision board. So put things on your board that you actually want, that mean something to you, that when you see them, they excite you and they feel accessible to you, not completely unrealistic. So when I work with people on my courses, I do a week of the vision board, or I do a different section of the vision board each week. So week 1, we do health and fitness. Week 2, we do money. And that's always a very popular one. Week 3, we do relationships. And week 4 then is open to anything extra you want, like maybe holidays or handbags or bikes or motorbikes or cars or whatever you're into. So the toys, basically. But I want to share a little story with you about my vision board and the importance of putting things on there that you like, and the importance of paying attention to your vision board. So I said earlier, my vision board was at the end of the bed on a dresser. My husband's vision board was in a different room in the office, which is an office that he works out of, and he had it up high. So I wouldn't see his vision board very often, but obviously he saw mine all the time. And I'm going to show you a little snip of our vision boards, okay? So if you look here on one side of the screen, you see Brian's vision board, and on the other side, you see my vision board, okay? So on my vision board, I had this picture of a girl diving into the water. Now, there's 2 reasons for this. Number 1, I couldn't swim when I started the vision board. And the reason that I had this picture up was because I really, really wanted to be able to swim by the time the summer came. And to me, someone jumping into the water, off a boat especially, must know how to swim, unless the boat is sinking. But I still wouldn't jump in the water if I couldn't swim, if the boat was sinking. So to me, that represented someone who could swim. So, and you can't see her face, so I was like, okay, that could be me. So I put it on the vision board. My husband, however, you'll see his vision board, put a picture up of a group of people jumping off a boat, because we got married during the pandemic. We were supposed to get married abroad, and one of the holidays we wanted to take, our honeymoon, was sailing around the Greek islands. And it was something that we'd looked at, going with a group around the Greek islands sailing. And it was, a really exciting idea, but we didn't do it, obviously. But it was something that we wanted to do, and possibly in the next few years. So my husband put this picture up of people jumping off the side of a yacht, because to him that was, us on a holiday in Greece sailing with people. So remember, he was looking at his vision board in his office all the time. I didn't see it very often because I wouldn't be in his office. In our bedroom, there was a picture of a girl jumping in the water, which represented me being able to swim. And he saw it all the time. So did I. Every night and every morning, I looked at it, okay? So what I want to share with you is what happened. We had these pictures on our vision boards, but I didn't even realize how it was impacting and imprinting on our subconscious minds. Because myself and my husband went to Greece last year, and we sailed around the Greek islands. And we were on a boat there was 8 of us in total. And most of them were strangers. Just one of the people on the boat at the time was our friend, but we all became friends very easily and very quickly. And my husband wanted to get this picture of all of us jumping off the boat, like he had on his vision board. So one day the captain went out on a dinghy and he said, I'll take a picture of you all jumping off in a video. So all of us lined up on the side of the boat to jump off, just like the picture my husband had in his office. And we counted to 3, 1, 2, 3, and everyone jumped off the side of the boat, except me. I froze, because even though I could swim, I was only after learning how to swim, and it was still scary jumping in the water. But everyone did wait around for me, and eventually convinced me, and I knew myself if I didn't jump, I'd regret it, to jump off the side of the boat. And I did. But if you are listening to this story, then you probably realize something. My husband was looking at a picture of people jumping off a boat, and he jumped off the boat with a group of people. I was looking at a picture of a girl jumping off a boat on her own, and I ended up jumping off the boat on my own. Now, you could argue that I did it on purpose, but that's not true because I really wanted to jump with everyone, but I was nervous. And I ended up doing it on my own anyway, so I did jump off the boat. But I've been looking at that picture, and subconsciously I really believe that that was what was meant to happen. And that's how powerful what we're looking at and what we're exposing ourselves to is. We're imprinting constantly on our mind the things that surround us and that we're looking at all the time. So I hope this little story inspires you to be very thoughtful about what you put on your vision board. And neither myself or my husband realized this until just 6 or 7 months after our holiday. When I was down in his office and I looked up at the picture and I went, oh my God, you have a picture of loads of people jumping off a boat. And I had a picture of one person, and that's exactly what happened. And I have a video of it and everything, so it's truly what happened. So it just goes to show everyone, be selective with your vision board. But that is one of the exercises that I get people to do on the course. And it's one of the tools today that I'm giving you to take away, to practice, to really, take action and take time to think about what you want in your life and put it somewhere you can see it every morning and every night, ideally, at least once a day, and imprint that on your mind. You would not believe the stories I could share with you, not just my own, but of people who are clients of mine over the last few years who have put things on their vision boards or written out letters to themselves, and stuff has happened is unreal. I mean, not everything on the board works out and not everything in the letter does, but a very high percentage does. And I think that's worth it. So another exercise I'm going to get you to do, if you want to pause to do this, you can, or you can do it later. But I would advise you, before you do meditation or before you do any requests or write out your letter to yourself or start an action board or do anything to do with manifesting, any of the tools I've given you, if you're going to sit down and write out your letter or start your action board, don't do any of it until firstly sitting down with your notepad and pen. I call it my gratitude journal. It says make it happen. I got this in Mr. Price or something for like $2.99. And I get my pen and I sit down and I write things I'm grateful for out before I ever make a request or take any action on things I want to manifest. So you can do this now by pausing and just write down things like, I'm happy to be alive, I'm happy for my home, I'm happy for my laptop, I'm happy for my phone, I'm happy to have my car, I'm happy for the health of my family, I'm happy I can see and hear and taste and smell and touch. You can write anything, just being grateful for things you actually have that we might take for granted. is a powerful process. And I would say take at least 1 minute to do it, maybe 2. Put a timer on your phone, 2 minutes of writing out what you're grateful for. And that will get you into that attitude of gratitude, that frequency that releases the good chemicals in the brain and puts you in a better frequency so that you're tuned in to attract the things you want into your life. So we are going to do a meditation. And this is the final thing today. And I really, really hope that everybody enjoyed what I've shared with you. As I said, it's just an introduction to give you a taste or a sample of what you can start doing to create more of what you want in your life. I've become an intentional creator because we're creating anyway, usually by default. And sometimes it's things we don't want. But when you consciously create and you give your attention and energy to the things you want, it really does make a difference. And on my workshops and on my courses, I always do meditation because that just helps to solidify it in your mind and to help to bring you on a journey and a vision of the future instead of living in the past. So I invite you to sit back and relax, make yourselves comfortable. And I'm going to play a little bit of music as well for this particular part. So I'm going to just share some music with you all now. So I invite you to sit back, relax, and make yourselves comfortable. If you wish, you can gently close over your eyes now into the warmth and darkness. And turn your attention inward. Taking a moment to feel where you are. Feeling your feet on the floor or your ankles where you lie or sit. Feeling your legs and your sit bones where you rest. Feeling your lower back and upper back rest into the chair, the bed, or the couch. And just take a breath into your body now, feeling the breath as it enters your body and fills you up all the way up to the tip of your head. And feel the breath as it leaves you. Feel the breath coming in and out. Each inhalation is breathing in the new, the exciting, the energizing, the happy future you wish to bring into your life. And each exhalation is letting go of any worries, any doubts, any fears, or any tension in your body or mind. Now, wherever you sit or lie, just become aware of your body where it rests. Feel your sit bones on the seat. Feel your clothes against your skin. Feel the temperature of the air in the room. Feel your breath as it enters and leaves your body. And then gently moving your attention to the sounds around you. Listening to the sound of the music, the sound of my voice. Listening for all the things you can hear right now where you are. And then gently moving your attention to any taste in your mouth. Just observing it. You don't need to label it or name it. And then gently moving your attention to any taste in your mouth. And then moving your awareness to any smells or scent in the air. Breathing in through the nose, noticing any fragrance, if any. If not, that's okay. And then slowly, gently, effortlessly, allowing yourself to become even more relaxed, letting go like never before, surrendering to the moment. And take another breath here and make it the longest, deepest, fullest breath of the day until you're filled up with that breath. And then exhaling, letting go. Now, in this perfect, relaxed state, I invite you to imagine you are standing at the end of a beautiful, grand staircase. The staircase is made of white marble with a grain vein throughout the marble. It's faint but distinctive. The stairs has about 30 steps that sweep up and around a curved wall. The staircase has a beautiful brass banister, shiny, smudge-free, beautiful brass banister curving up and around the staircase. I invite you now to walk up the staircase, one step at a time, feeling the support of the marble beneath you as your hand runs up the beautiful brass handrail, smooth, flawless, cool. One step at a time until you reach the top and there's a grand landing. And in front of you there are 3 doors. The first door has the number 1, representing 1 year into the future. The second door in front of you has the number 3, representing 3 years into the future. And the third door to your right has the number 5, representing 5 years into the future. In a moment, I will ask you to choose which timeline you would like to step into. And when I do, I will invite you to step through that door. When you step through the door, you will be stepping into that future. You don't have to force anything that you want to see. Maybe something will just come to you. Maybe something you don't expect. You just enjoy the experience of stepping into a future timeline, walking around in it as if it's happening in the present moment, seeing everything, hearing everything, feeling, tasting, smelling, anything that is relevant to this future timeline. Enjoy it. So I invite you now to choose a door. Number 1, 3, or 5 years into the future. Step up to the door, open the door handle, step inside the door, and close the door behind you. As you stand inside the door now, there's a thick fog around you. Don't worry, as you start to walk through the fog, it will clear away. It will dissipate. It will disappear until a clear picture comes into view. It's up to you what you see now. So just walk around and bask in this future reality for a few moments, taking it all in, having fun. Now, once you've moved around in this wonderful future timeline and seen all you need to see, heard what you've needed to hear, felt what you've needed to feel, tasted and smelt whatever it is in this timeline, I invite you now to slowly return back to the fog from which you came, walking into it until you reach the door, opening the door and stepping in, returning to that staircase. I invite you now to walk back down the staircase, one step at a time, slowly, gently ascending the staircase. And with each step, you come closer and closer to returning to the present moment. In a moment, I will count backwards from 3, and when I do, you can gently, slowly open your eyes. But just take another moment here to take 1 or 2 more breaths, breathing in, filling your belly all the way up to the top of your head. And as you exhale, letting go, relaxing, releasing, being completely present in the moment, perhaps wiggling your fingers and your toes or moving your head side to side. You have done great work here. Well done. 3, 2, and 1. Opening your eyes into a world where wonderful things are possible. So I hope you enjoyed today's workshop. I hope you do take action on those few tools that I've shared with you. I also hope that you start to create more intentionally in your life and manifest more of the things you want so that you really, truly live the life of your dreams and a life that you love, because it won't just affect you, it'll affect everyone around you. And share this video with anyone you think might like it. And check on the notes below, because my next workshop, I have no doubt, will be very soon. I run them 4-week courses, and I do them every 5 weeks. So there's always a gap week. So just have a look and see when the next one is on if you're interested, and just contact me to book your space. Thank you for being here today, and well done for giving yourself the time and space, and go forth and manifest a life that you love.